I had a magical experience at Detroit Metro Airport. Now, I realize you may not have heard that very many times. But all of these things that I went over with you prepared me for what happened at Detroit Metro Airport. I was feeling very good. I was having a beautiful day. My wife and daughter had just had a lovely vacation with my family in Michigan. We were on the way to fly home. Everything was good to go. I was feeling great. I was in a very good mood. I'd had a small snack that morning, maybe like a granola bar or something, and I was prepared for a lovely breakfast at P.F. Chang's at the airport. Now, they have lots of options on the menu. I chose one that was typical of my eating patterns. I got one that had pretty much everything in it. It had all different kinds of meat. It had entire eggs in it. It was some kind of like noodle bowl or something, and they just dumped everything you could want in it. There was all kinds of meat, eggs, it was greasy, and it was delicious. And I ate up a whole bunch of it. And I figured you want to load up before the plane. So I ate and had a big feed and was nice and full and picked my daughter up to go walk down and sit at our terminal, which was fairly close away. Within 10 minutes of finishing that meal, my thoughts had dropped from gratitude, thankfulness, happiness, love, and joy. My thoughts were dipping close to suicidal depression within 10 minutes of that meal. By the time I was carrying my daughter, there was a bar that we walked by at the airport, and I'm an alcoholic. We walked by the bar, and now at this point I'd had about two years of sobriety, so I was feeling very good about, normally like things like walking by the bar, and not getting like sucked into the void on it, like I've got to have a drink, or, just walk by just like it was any other part of the airport that wasn't relevant to me. Well, this time I started thinking about a drink. Then I started feeling bad about thinking about a drink. Then I started feeling bad about being a bad parent because my daughter was not happy with my diaper changing procedures in the bathroom or something. Or maybe she just wasn't feeling very good and she was a bit crabby. And by the time I sat back down with my wife, I felt horrible. I felt full of shame, like I'm an awful person. I'm not a good enough father. I'm not a good enough AA member. I'm not a good enough husband. Here I am bringing this mood over to my wife when we're traveling, and I was just filled with shame. And then the miracle happened. When we got on the plane, I started listening to the book How Not to Die, which is read by the author. And I had what you might call a revelation. I had one of those thoughts that comes and it just gives you everything you need to make a decision right that moment to change your life forever. And I had a thought just like this. What if what you just ate made you feel the way you did? And that just exploded my whole thing. Like I had been having such a good morning, and what action did I take? I essentially poisoned my body. I put a bunch of things in it my body didn't like, and my body communicated that to me with a bad mood. It used a depressed mood to communicate with me that it didn't like what I was doing. And I had that just smashing thought as the author in How Not to Die starts launching into a healthy way to eat. That thought just smashed everything. I'm like, oh my God, that meal I just ate gave me that bad mood. That meal I ate caused that bad mood. I experienced that bad mood because I just did something wrong. I poisoned my body. Now, with all the Alcoholics Anonymous meetings I went to, I'd been so familiar with all of my struggles, like with my sex issues that I've explained, and my emotional issues, and my money and gambling issues. I started to recognize that when I did something wrong or sinned, not in the sense that I'm a bad person, but I simply did something in a way that's not optimal. In car terms, I put the wrong kind of gas in the car. And by wrong, I mean I put the kind of gas in the car that it's not designed to run on. I put gas in the car that it doesn't function optimally with. Then that's not wrong per se, in the sense that if you don't know what the right kind of gas to put in the car is, then you just put one kind of gas in the car or another and you don't figure it matters. But when you start to look inside your body and see how it feels and see how it responds, like the last time I watched an adult movie, I noticed I felt really bad afterwards. And the same thing with having a drink. When the last time I had a drink, I felt really bad afterwards. And I noticed these, and then I realized the same thing with food. Oh my God, this is the same thing. It's just like with alcohol. It's just like watching adult movies. I did something that hurt me. I did something that made me feel bad. And what I did, I ate wrong. And I don't even know the right way to do it. I don't even know how to eat so that I don't make that happen. And that really humbled me. Like, wow, I'm 30 at this point, almost 31 years old, and I have no idea. I have no clue how to eat in a way that does not cause depression, that does not cause bad moods. And so I realized at the same moment, the universe, my uncle, God, however you want to put it, had gave me the exact book that would show me exactly how to eat and how to never experience that same thing again. And just seeing all of that at once, I made a decision. I said, I will do whatever it takes to eat healthy. I will do whatever I need to do to eat healthy, to eat in a way that does not cause depression. And now I experience way less moods like that because I don't eat like that. The change in my eating has wiped out an unbelievable amount of those little bad moods that come along. I am used to being in a great mood all day, all the time, because I'm not used to suffering a bad mood after I eat. And that's a miracle. And what I realized then in listening to the book, I was given exact information to guide what I needed to do. What you need to do first is stop eating animal products. All animal products. No meat, no cheese, no milk, nothing with meat or milk in it as an ingredient. No more of that. And the guy explains in the book, he says, if you're a person who does moderation, my wife does moderation. She does moderation in almost everything. If you're a person with moderation, sure. There's no reason you couldn't occasionally have a hamburger or occasionally have a glass of milk or a bowl of ice cream. If you're an alcoholic, you might want to stick to doing this system exactly how I explain it and not having any meat or animal products. And well, with enough honesty, alcoholic, yep, I'm probably better off not trying to do moderation on this because honestly, I've eaten enough meat and animal products for the rest of my life. If you ate meat and animal products in moderation your whole life and compared how many I've eaten, I've probably eaten the same amount as a person would eat in moderation for their whole life. So the book told me what to stop doing. And as soon as I listened to that book, I have avoided meat and animal products. Now, I don't do it in the sense that it's for the principle. Like one day when I went to T-Rex at Disney, I was hungry. I hadn't properly prepared my food to eat. My friend and I went to order a meal. I wasn't yet familiar with how to ask exactly for what I wanted at the chef. I ordered a Caesar salad. I forgot to ask for no Parmesan cheese. I forgot that it might have anchovies in the dressing, and the salad came loaded with Parmesan cheese and Caesar dressing. And you know what? I ate the salad. I didn't sit there and throw a fit or go hungry. I said, you know what? I'm going to eat this salad because this is good enough for this meal. But I'm not going to make a habit of doing this. See, eating's not quite as simple as alcohol in the sense that you can just avoid alcohol completely. Sometimes things are going to have meat or animal products in them by accident. The point is to mostly avoid it, especially at home. So I work in everything I buy and eat. If it's got animal products, I don't buy it. I don't eat it. And then I'm not opposed to it. For example, if there's some horrible thing happens and the only way I can survive is to kill one of my dogs and eat it, And then I'm going to do that. I think I might do that anyway. I don't know if I'm going to do that, but if there's some starvation or famine, I'm open to eating whatever is available. If there's not fresh plant, fruits, and vegetables everywhere, and the only thing I can get my hands on is either face starvation or eat some meat, I might eat some meat then. So I'm not totally opposed to it, but the question is, what am I going to eat today that will produce the very healthiest result for this body? And that becomes clear. And then the How Not to Die lays that out exactly, and it matches up with what I read in Whole also. Fruits, vegetables. You know what? The U.S. government says that half of what you eat, 50% of what you eat should be fruits and vegetables. That's the official recommendation by the U.S. government. Now, if you believe the U.S. government is absolutely honest about things like there's no UFOs or no aliens, then you better be eating half of your plate fruits and vegetables every day, because that's what they tell you to do also. And you better be completely honest on your taxes as well. So the U.S., that is the official recommendations of the U.S. government, is to eat half fruits and vegetables. So that's what I try and do. I try and eat half of my diet as fruits and vegetables today. I have a 32-ounce smoothie twice a day that contains almost only fruits and vegetables, blended up, raw. And that's half of what I eat today. So I try and just follow the recommendations based on the research. Then the other half of the plate, beans, nuts, whole grains. Beans, nuts, and whole grains. Between the three of these, among the three of these, Jerry, among the three of these different foods covers all the nutrition plus some herbs and spices. And then what I have ground up matcha tea to drink. So let me hit the beans, nuts, and grains first. The nice thing with my smoothie is that all I do is blend up the raw fruits and vegetables. Like I described, the pineapple, grapes. You can throw about any fruits and vegetables you want into a smoothie and blend it up and have that. I eat the raw fruits and vegetables in a smoothie. I drink them. And then every day I make my smoothie. It takes about 30 minutes every single day. I take the time to make my smoothie. And I make it so that it's ready the next morning. The whole thing's ready for the next day. So I've got a smoothie made for the next day. And then for my beans, nuts, and whole grains, I try and buy lazy-friendly foods. So for example, Lara bars, L-A-R-A, Lara bars. They have lots of nuts that are ground up in them, along with things like dates. They're very healthy, so I eat Lara bars, a very good source of nuts. They also have some fruits in them, and they can have some other things depending on what they're made of. And then for the whole grains and beans, I like to do hummus. So one of the healthiest whole grain options I've found that's easy is Triscuits with low salt, or a hint of salt as it's called. So ideally, I try and also avoid added sugar, added oil, and added salt. Well, you have to make some compromises somewhere, and in the whole grains and beans is where I try and make the majority of my compromises, and then in the fruits and vegetables and nuts, I try and go no added anything. So then I can make a little compromise in the whole grains and beans, and then I can get those down and enjoy them, and then I don't have that much added anything in my diet. So the hint of salt Triscuits have 3 grams of fat in terms of added oils out of 28 grams. So that's a pretty low percentage compared to, say, potato chips, and have anywhere often 6 to 10 grams of added fat out of every 28 grams. So the idea is I'm getting a greater percentage of a healthier food. So the Triscuits are made out of whole grain wheat, and then they have a little bit of salt and oil in them. And then I use the Triscuits to dip in a hummus that I make at home. So I buy a packet of the oil and everything that you need for hummus at the store. I take the no salt added beans out of I get these Eden Organic. They have no salt added. They're organic beans. And I put 2 cans of those in the blender, and I put the packet of hummus in that's designed to just be made with the drained beans. So the hummus I make's a little watery and thin and doesn't have as much taste, but it's got a lot less added salt and oil, and it's got a lot more nutritional value than the hummus you buy at the store. And my wife then makes some of her own hummus for me as well. So then I use the Triscuits, or sometimes I'll get like bean chips, and then I'll dip in the hummus, and then that's my meal. And then I use other things, like you can cook beans, you can make beans. There's all kinds of other things you can do. In fact, one of the most amazing things of changing my diet this way is that this has encouraged more experimentation than I've ever had. I'm eating more kinds of foods, I'm trying more foods, I'm experiencing more kinds of foods than I ever have in my life. It's a lot of fun. And the energy, oh man. Do you see, I've been talking for an hour and 30 minutes straight, standing up here. This is first thing in the morning. I just got out of bed like 30 minutes before I started making this. I have this level of energy all day, every day. It's amazing. After doing things like this all day, I still go out and walk my dogs for an hour. And the nice thing is, when I eat this way, it produces this ridiculous simplicity. Human beings do very well with simplicity because there are so many areas of life that are so complicated. Most of us get overwhelmed really easily. And you can get overwhelmed very easily just by having too many different decisions. So what I've noticed is a lot of the people I think of as successful, people like Mark Zuckerberg, I don't know how successful he is as a husband or a father, but he's done very good in creating Facebook. What I've noticed, for example, he takes out deciding what clothes to wear. He has all these bland, like brownish hoodies and t-shirts he wears, and that's all he wears. That's his whole wardrobe. He's completely removed clothing from things he needs to make decisions about. So for me, I have removed a huge element of decision making and work in my life in food, because all I do, I drink my whole smoothie every day, and then I try and have some snacks that I keep around the house. And then if I go out to eat with my wife, for example, I ask and order things that are vegan. And that way, if I go out to eat and it has some added salt or added oil or added sugar, it'll balance well, because what I eat is so good normally that a little bit of added something when I go out to eat then is a treat. Or I'll go across the street to my wife's parents' house and they'll make some food for me, and for example, last night they made eggplant parmesan, but my wife put some eggplant aside for me that had been breaded and baked vegan, and then just had some noodles and marinara sauce on top of it. So I had a little plate of that for dinner. Now the beautiful thing is the simplicity. I don't have to count calories. I don't have to use self-discipline in my eating. The foods I eat have so much dietary fiber. They are so heavy that they fill me up completely. The smoothie this morning that I drank fills me up for 2 hours. And it has very few calories, and it provides a burst of energy that's way better than any energy drink, because the energy I get from fruits and vegetables is natural. What happens with energy drinks, I've had lots of energy drinks throughout my life, you get overclocked. And that means you get too energetic. It gets to be uncomfortably energetic. You get to just feel like, oh my God, I'm on edge. And then in addition to my diet, the only thing I drink water, and I drink ground up green and black tea. That's all I drink. You see the simplicity that offers? I don't drink sodas. I gave up drinking sodas. I'm not opposed to having a soda perhaps once a year for a special occasion, but on a daily basis, I don't drink sodas. And as a rule, I say no to sodas. Do you want a soda when you go in the movies? No, I'll just have water. And that for me as an alcoholic, that makes it a lot easier as well, because everything I drink is all in my cups. It's all, for example, if I went to a New Year's Eve party, I take my cup of tea with me, and then I have that to drink. No one even asked me if I wanted to drink, because I had my own cup of ground up tea with me. No one even offered me a drink at a New Year's Eve party. Now, and I don't think everyone there knew I was alcoholic or anything. So I think that's just awesome. So I love this way I eat today because it's so simple. It's easy. I don't have to count calories anymore. And everything I eat is designed to run my body at maximum performance. Now, if you haven't been sold, so to speak, on it, I'm simply telling you what I do. You can do whatever you want to, just like I did whatever I wanted to for most of my adult life. I'm doing this today because based on the science, this is the best I've seen in order to get the best results. This is the best I've experienced and the best I've seen based on the research. No other way I've eaten in my life has come close to how good I feel and look today with this. I've even started not getting sunburnt as much. You can't tell from here with the lighting. But this new diet I've been eating has helped me to not get sunburned so easily. Because when you eat a lot of fruits and vegetables and all plant foods, they process the sun and that's how they get energy. So you actually have so much of them in your blood that your blood can actually, on a small scale, perform photosynthesis. That some rays of your sun actually go through and hit the chlorophyll cells in your blood. You can actually photosynthesize inside your body. How cool is that? You eat as many fruits and vegetables I do a day, that happens on a little tiny scale.